Finally, Kody goes to Christine's door with no financial help anywhere, and Christine says, "Kody, you get out of my house." Christine tells Kody she can never help him again. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Daily Gossip News Update. I'm Olivia, and I hope you're well by God's grace. Please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more updates. The breaking point: Kody's financial and emotional crisis. It's clear from the outset that Kody's arrival at Christine's doorstep is not a simple visit. He arrives with no financial help or resources to lean on. The weight of his responsibilities, combined with the constant strain of maintaining relationships with multiple wives, has left him drained and without support. Financial difficulties, compounded by the pressure of his personal life, have created a perfect storm for Kody. He is feeling abandoned, misunderstood, and without any clear path forward. Christine, on the other hand, is not oblivious to the strains that have been building in her marriage for years. The once strong connection, they had seemed to fade with every passing day. She had long struggled with her position in the family, feeling neglected by Kody as he divided his attention between his other wives. Their bond, once built on love and trust, had slowly deteriorated, leaving Christine feeling unappreciated and unsupported. When Kody knocks on Christine's door, he is hoping for a moment of relief, a safe space where he can gather his thoughts and perhaps find solace. However, Christine has had enough. Her years of emotional turmoil and unmet needs have built up to a point where she can no longer be the person Kody turns to in times of crisis. Her decision to not help him and ultimately kick him out of the house marks a major turning point in their relationship. Christine's decision: no more help. The moment Christine tells Kody that she can never help him again is a pivotal moment in their relationship. For years, Christine has been the one to offer emotional support, to be the rock when Kody needed her. However, over time, she began to feel as though her emotional needs were being ignored. The imbalance in their marriage, where Kody's attention was constantly divided among his wives, left Christine feeling isolated and unimportant. She had given so much to the relationship, only to be met with emotional neglect. Christine's decision to no longer help Kody is a reflection of her own journey towards self-worth and independence. After years of sacrificing her own happiness for the sake of the family, she finally reaches a breaking point. She is no longer willing to put herself in a position where she is constantly giving, only to receive little in return. Her choice to stand firm and tell Kody that she cannot help him anymore is an act of empowerment. It is Christine taking control of her own narrative and refusing to be the emotional crutch for someone who has not been there for her in the same way. For Kody, this moment is a wake-up call. He realizes that Christine is no longer willing to tolerate the dynamics that have been at play for so long. His once reliable support system is now gone, and he is forced to confront the consequences of his actions. Kody's inability to provide for his family, emotionally or financially, has finally caught up with him. This moment marks the end of a chapter in their marriage and sets the stage for the unraveling of their relationship. Sister wives: Kody and Christine's relationship breakdown. In the tumultuous world of sister wives, where polygamy and complex family dynamics take center stage, Kody Brown's relationship with his wives has been a roller coaster. Among all the relationships, the one between Kody and Christine Brown stands out as one of the most emotionally charged. Over the years, fans have witnessed a slow and painful unraveling of their once strong bond. It was a relationship that started with hope and expectations, but eventually gave way to misunderstandings, unmet needs, and a growing divide that seemed almost insurmountable. At one of the lowest points in their relationship, Kody finds himself in a desperate situation. The pressure of managing a large family, compounded with his multiple relationships, has begun to weigh on him in ways he never imagined. One night, he arrives at Christine's door in a state of emotional and financial distress, seeking refuge in her home. However, Christine, who has long struggled with her own emotional needs within the marriage, makes a decision that will mark a turning point in their relationship. The consequences of Christine's decision. Christine's decision to cut ties with Kody in this way has far-reaching consequences. For one, It serves as a public declaration that the marriage is no longer functioning as it once did. This is not just a private issue between Kody and Christine. It is something that will be felt by the entire family. The other wives, particularly Janelle and Mary, will undoubtedly feel the ripple effects of this decision. The dynamics of the family are already strained, and Christine's bold move only adds to the tension. Furthermore, Christine's decision to tell Kody she can never help him again is a moment of liberation for her. She is finally taking the steps necessary to reclaim her own sense of agency. No longer will she allow herself to be trapped in a cycle of emotional dependency. Her actions symbolize a shift in her mindset, a refusal to continue sacrificing her own well-being for the sake of a broken relationship. By setting this boundary, Christine is choosing her own happiness and self-worth over the expectations that have long been placed on her. For Kody, this marks a painful realization. He is now faced with the consequences of his actions and his inability to balance the emotional needs of his wives. His relationship with Christine is no longer just strained. It has reached a point of no return. He is left with no choice but to reflect on his own behavior and consider what he has lost in the process. The future of Kody and Christine's relationship. As the story unfolds, it becomes increasingly clear that Kody and Christine's relationship is no longer sustainable. The events that transpired that night, when Kody was kicked out of Christine's house, set in motion a chain of events that would eventually lead to their separation. While they had been through many ups and downs over the years, this final moment of rejection was the catalyst for Christine's decision to leave the marriage. For Kody, the road ahead is uncertain. He is now forced to confront the reality that his relationships with his wives are in jeopardy. His inability to meet their emotional needs, coupled with the growing resentment between him and Christine, leaves him questioning the future of his family. Kody's polygamous lifestyle, which once seemed to offer the possibility of multiple sources of love and support, has instead become a source of division and pain. Christine, on the other hand, is ready to move forward with her life. She has made the difficult decision to prioritize herself and her own well-being over the toxic dynamics of her marriage. Her journey toward independence and self-empowerment is just beginning, and while it may not be easy, she is determined to create a life that is free from the emotional burden that Kody placed on her for so long. The moment when Christine tells Kody she can never help him again is a defining moment in their relationship. It marks the end of a chapter in their marriage and the beginning of a new phase in Christine's life. For Kody, it is a wake-up call, one that forces him to reckon with the consequences of his actions and the toll his behavior has taken on his relationships. As the sister wives' story continues to unfold, it becomes clear that the once strong bond between Kody and Christine is irreparably broken. Both individuals must now navigate the challenges of rebuilding their lives separately, and the future of their family hangs in the balance. Sister wives, Christine demands answers from Kody about Kody Brown. In the intricate and often tumultuous world of sister wives, where complex relationships, emotions, and family dynamics intertwine, the struggles of Kody Brown and his wives have been laid bare for the world to see. The Brown family, known for their polygamous lifestyle, has always faced its fair share of challenges, both internal and external. Among these challenges, one of the most emotionally charged and heart-wrenching is the relationship between Kody and his children, particularly his daughter Kody Brown, whom he shares with his third wife, Garrison Brown. Over the years, Kody's relationship with his children has been strained. His ability to divide his attention among his multiple wives and numerous children has often been called into question, and his children have frequently expressed feelings of neglect or emotional distance. However, one of the most poignant moments in the sister wives saga comes when Christine demands answers from Kody regarding his failure to support Kody Brown, their daughter, both emotionally and physically. This confrontation is a turning point not only in their relationship, but also in the overall narrative of their family dynamic. The emotional distance between Kody and Kody Brown, born to Kody and Christine, is the youngest of their children. As a child, she has witnessed the ups and downs of her parents' relationship, often seeing the rifts and tensions that have emerged over the years. While Kody has expressed love for her father, It is clear that there is a significant emotional distance between them. This emotional gap has been a point of concern for Christine, who has long felt that Kody has not been as present in Truly's life as he should be. In the early seasons of Sister Wives, viewers could see Kody's attempts to balance his relationships with his wives and his many children. However, as time went on, it became increasingly apparent that Kody's attention was often divided, and this divide negatively impacted his relationship with his children, especially Truly. While Kody maintained close relationships with some of his other children, his bond with Truly seemed to lack the depth and connection that one would expect from a father-daughter relationship. This emotional distance became even more evident when Truly's needs were not being met. Christine, who had always been dedicated to her children and was deeply invested in their well-being, could not ignore the fact that Kody was not providing the support that Truly so desperately needed. This neglect, both emotional and physical, ultimately led to a breaking point for Christine. The catalyst for Christine's demand for answers. Christine's decision to demand answers from Kody regarding his lack of support for Truly came after years of frustration and emotional turmoil. Over time, Christine began to notice a pattern of Kody failing to be there for Truly in the way a father should. Whether it was his absence during important milestones or his inability to provide emotional support, Christine felt that Kody was neglecting his responsibilities as a father. The final straw came when Truly expressed her own disappointment with Kody. As a young girl, Truly craved her father's attention and affection, but she was left feeling overlooked and neglected. Christine could no longer stand by and watch her daughter suffer in silence. Her protective instincts as a mother kicked in, and she knew that something had to be done. It was time for her to confront Kody and demand answers about why he was failing to support Truly. For Christine, this moment was not just about calling Kody out on his actions. It was about standing up for her daughter and ensuring that Truly's emotional needs were met. As a mother, Christine had always prioritized the well-being of her children, and in this moment, she could no longer tolerate the emotional neglect that Truly had been subjected to. Her decision to demand answers from Kody was born out of her deep love for her daughter and her desire to protect her from further hurt. Christine's demands. In the scene that follows, Christine is visibly upset as she approaches Kody. She is tired, frustrated, and heartbroken by the situation. She has reached a point where she can no longer stay silent. Her face is filled with emotion as she demands to know why Kody has failed to support Truly in the way a father should. Kody, why haven't you been there for Truly? Why haven't you supported her the way you should be? Christine asks, her voice filled with both anger and sadness. Her words are sharp, direct, and full of hurt, and Kody is taken aback by the intensity of the confrontation. He has grown accustomed to being questioned by Christine about their relationship, but this is different. This is about their daughter, and the stakes are higher than ever before. Christine's voice wavers as she continues. Truly is your daughter. She's a little girl, and she needs you. Why aren't you supporting her emotionally and physically? Why are you letting her feel like she doesn't matter? Kody, caught off guard by the sudden intensity of the situation, tries to explain himself. He stumbles over his words, offering excuses and justifications for his actions, or lack thereof. He talks about the difficulties of managing multiple wives and children, the time constraints, and the emotional exhaustion he feels. However, these excuses do little to alleviate Christine's frustration. She is not interested in his reasons. She is only interested in the well-being of their daughter. Christine's demand is simple. She wants Kody to step up as a father. She wants him to take responsibility for his actions and make a change. In that moment, Christine is no longer concerned with the dynamics of their polygamous relationship. She is a mother advocating for her child, and she will not back down. Kody's response and the fallout. Kody's response to Christine's demands is both defensive and dismissive. He deflects responsibility and attempts to downplay the significance of his actions. He may genuinely feel overwhelmed by the responsibilities of managing a polygamous family, but this does little to assuage Christine's concerns. For her, this is not just about the difficulties of balancing multiple relationships. It is about the emotional neglect of their daughter. Kody's failure to fully acknowledge the severity of the situation is a critical moment in their relationship. Christine, who has spent years trying to make their marriage work, realizes that Kody's priorities are misaligned. His lack of emotional support for Truly is a direct result of his inability to truly prioritize his children's needs. For Christine, this realization is both heartbreaking and eye-opening. She understands that Kody's failure to be there for Truly is not an isolated incident, but part of a larger pattern of neglect that has been affecting their entire family. As the confrontation continues, the tension between Kody and Christine reaches a breaking point. Christine's anger and frustration are palpable, while Kody's defensiveness only deepens the divide between them. The conversation ends without a clear resolution, and Christine is left feeling more determined than ever to protect her daughter and hold Kody accountable for his actions. The impact on Truly and the family dynamic. The fallout from this confrontation extends far beyond Kody and Christine's relationship. Truly, who is at the heart of the conflict, is left to navigate the emotional fallout of her father's neglect. As a young girl, she is caught in the middle of a family dynamic that is becoming increasingly fractured. While she may not fully understand the complexities of her parents' relationship, she is keenly aware of the emotional distance between her and her father. Truly's relationship with Kody is forever changed by this moment. She now sees him not only as a father who has failed to support her emotionally, but also as a person who has allowed the family dynamics to tear them apart. For Truly, the emotional damage may take years to heal, if it ever does. As a child, she needs her father's love, guidance, and support, but Kody's failure to provide those things leaves her with a sense of abandonment that is difficult to overcome. For Christine, this moment is a turning point. She has always been a devoted mother, and her priority has always been the well-being of her children. Her confrontation with Kody is an act of fierce motherhood, one that reveals the lengths she is willing to go to in order to protect her daughter. It is a reminder that, despite the complex and often difficult nature of their polygamous family, Christine will not allow her children to suffer in silence. Christine's unwavering commitment to her children. The confrontation between Christine and Kody about Truly's lack of support is a pivotal moment in the sister-wives saga. It highlights the emotional struggles of both parents and the deep rift that has formed between them. Christine's demand for answers from Kody is not just a moment of frustration, it is an act of empowerment and protection for her daughter. As a mother, Christine will stop at nothing to ensure that her children's emotional needs are met, even if it means confronting the person she once loved. Kody's failure to adequately support Truly is a reflection of the larger issues within the Brown family. The emotional neglect that has plagued his relationships with his children is a serious problem that cannot be ignored any longer. The impact of this moment will reverberate throughout the family for years to come, leaving Kody to grapple with the consequences of his actions and Christine to navigate her new role as a fiercely protective mother. In the end, this confrontation serves as a reminder that no matter the complexities of polygamy, family dynamics, or romantic relationships, the needs of children must always come first. Christine's demand for answers from Kody is a testament to her unwavering commitment to her children, and it serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of emotional support and presence in a child's life. Sister Wives. Mary's new beginning after divorcing Kody. In the world of sister wives, where relationships are often complicated, dynamic, and emotionally charged, the story of Mary Brown's journey following her divorce from Kody Brown stands out as one of the most poignant and transformative. Throughout the course of the reality show, viewers have witnessed the highs and lows of Mary's relationship with Kody, which, like many others within the family, has been tested by time, emotional struggles, and a lack of balance. Yet, after years of challenges and heartache, Mary's decision to divorce Kody and move forward with her life is not just an ending, it's the beginning of a new chapter, one that has ultimately brought her happiness, peace, and a sense of independence. This article will explore Mary's emotional journey after the divorce, the changes she has experienced, and how she has found contentment and growth in her new life. For Mary, divorce was not just a conclusion to a troubled relationship, but a stepping stone to self-discovery and empowerment. The evolution of her happiness is not without its struggles, but it reflects her resilience and strength as she carves out a new identity for herself outside of her marriage to Kody. Meri and Kody, a marriage marked by struggles. Before delving into Meri's life after the divorce, it's important to understand the history between Meri and Kody. Their marriage, which began with optimism and the hope of a shared future, eventually became strained as Kody's other marriages and relationships grew more complex. As the first wife in the polygamous family, Meri initially had Kody's full attention. However, over time, his focus shifted to his other wives, Janelle, Kody, and Robyn, leaving Meri to navigate the emotional difficulties of being the first wife in a family where her position was no longer the priority. Meri's relationship with Kody grew increasingly distant as the years passed. In addition to the emotional toll of being neglected, she also faced personal hardships, including the pain of a miscarriage and her struggles with infertility. While Kody's other wives had more children, Meri felt isolated and disconnected from the growing family dynamic. The sense of abandonment and emotional neglect led to frustration, sadness, and feelings of being unimportant. Meri's desire for attention, affection, and validation went unmet, deepening the rift in her marriage. The turning point in their relationship came when Kody became romantically involved with Robyn, the youngest wife, who seemed to capture more of Kody's emotional and physical attention. Despite her struggles, Meri held on to the hope that their marriage could be salvaged, but the emotional strain of being in a polygamous marriage eventually led her to make the difficult decision to separate from Kody emotionally and physically. However, it wasn't until later that the couple's formal divorce occurred. Kody and Meri made the decision to divorce, but they still maintained a cordial relationship, though Meri was increasingly dissatisfied with the state of their marriage. The decision to divorce, a new beginning. Meri's decision to divorce Kody was not one she made lightly. It was the culmination of years of frustration, emotional neglect, and a growing realization that she deserved more love, more attention, and more respect. Kody's lack of emotional presence in their relationship made it clear to Meri that she could no longer live in a marriage where her emotional needs were consistently unmet. After much soul-searching, Meri chose to enter marriage with Kody, opting for a path of independence. This divorce was a turning point in her life, marking the end of a relationship that, despite its beginnings, had become increasingly unhealthy. While the decision was undoubtedly painful, it was also liberating. For Meri, divorce was an opportunity to let go of a past that had weighed heavily on her and to embrace a future filled with possibilities. One of the most significant aspects of Meri's decision to divorce Kody was her recognition of her own worth. No longer willing to stay in a situation where she felt emotionally unfulfilled, Meri took charge of her own happiness. She understood that she had the right to choose her own path, to explore new opportunities, and to build a life that was truly hers. In many ways, the divorce gave Meri the freedom she had long desired. It freed her from the constraints of a relationship that no longer served her, and it provided her with the space to rediscover herself. Her happiness, once dependent on Kody's approval and affection, was now in her own hands. Meri's decision was a brave one that reflected her strength and determination to live life on her terms. Life after divorce. Meri's personal transformation. After the divorce, Meri's life began to transform in ways she hadn't anticipated. No longer defined by her role as Kody's wife, she embarked on a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. Meri's newfound happiness was not an overnight process, but rather the result of a series of intentional steps she took to build a life she could be proud of. One of the first changes Meri made was to focus on her emotional well-being. She sought therapy to address the pain of her past and to heal from the years of neglect and emotional abuse. Therapy became a safe space for Meri to process her feelings, release her anger, and work through the emotional baggage that had accumulated over the years. In doing so, Meri began to develop a stronger sense of self-worth. She realized that she deserved to be loved and appreciated for who she was, not just for the role she played in a polygamous family. Meri also began to explore her own interests and passions. She started traveling, pursuing new hobbies, and surrounding herself with supportive friends who helped her rediscover her confidence. One of the most significant changes in Mary's life after the divorce was her renewed sense of independence. She was no longer waiting for validation or approval from Kody or anyone else. She became her own advocate, taking charge of her own happiness and well-being. In addition to her emotional growth, Mary's physical appearance also underwent a transformation. She lost weight, started exercising regularly, and embraced a healthier lifestyle. This physical transformation was symbolic of the inner work Mary was doing to reclaim her power. She was no longer the person who had to rely on others for her sense of identity. She was creating a new version of herself, one that was strong, confident, and unapologetically independent. One of the most important aspects of Mary's transformation was her ability to embrace her new life without guilt or regret. Although she had spent many years as part of Kody's polygamous family, Mary did not allow her past to define her future. Instead, she focused on the present moment and the opportunities that lay ahead, finding happiness and fulfillment in her new life. As time passed, Mary found herself in a place of genuine happiness. She began to prioritize herself and her needs, which allowed her to experience a sense of fulfillment she had never known before. One of the things that brought Mary joy was her new sense of community. She reconnected with old friends and formed new relationships with people who truly supported and cared for her. This sense of belonging was something she had longed for in her marriage to Kody, and now she was able to experience it in ways she had never imagined. Mary also found happiness in her work. She became involved in several business ventures, including an online boutique called LuLaRoe, which became a successful business venture for her. This gave her the opportunity to meet new people, form meaningful connections, and create something of her own. Mary's business success not only provided financial independence, but also boosted her self-esteem. It gave her a sense of purpose and accomplishment that had been lacking in her previous marriage. In addition to her career and personal endeavors, Mary found happiness in her relationships with her family, particularly her daughter Leon. Mary's relationship with Leon grew stronger after the divorce, as they both focused on building a healthy and supportive mother-daughter bond. The divorce, while painful, allowed Mary to focus more on her immediate family, forging deeper connections with her loved ones. For Mary, happiness was no longer defined by a marriage or the approval of others. It was about self-love, independence, and the freedom to live life on her own terms. She had gone from a place of emotional neglect and disappointment to a place of self-empowerment and joy. Embracing the future, Mary's new journey. As Mary looks to the future, she remains focused on her personal growth and happiness. She has found a new sense of purpose in her life and continues to pursue her passions and interests with vigor. The divorce from Kody may have marked the end of one chapter, but it was also the beginning of a new and exciting journey. Mary's newfound happiness is a testament to her strength, resilience, and determination to take control of her own life. She has learned to embrace the challenges and struggles she faced in her past, using them as stepping stones toward her future. Through her journey of self-discovery, Mary has shown that it is possible to find happiness and fulfillment even after the end of a long and difficult relationship. In many ways, Mary's story is one of empowerment and transformation. It is a reminder that no matter what life throws at us, we have the power to create the life we want. Mary's happiness after divorcing Kody is not just a personal triumph. It is an inspiration to others who may be struggling with their own difficult relationships. Her story proves that it is never too late to make a change, to prioritize your own happiness, and to live a life filled with purpose and joy. A life transformed. Mary's new life after divorcing Kody is a powerful example of how a difficult ending can lead to a beautiful new beginning. She has faced her challenges head-on, worked through her emotional wounds, and emerged stronger and happier than ever before. Mary's journey is a testament to the power of self-love, independence, and the ability to create a life that is fulfilling and joyful. While her divorce was not an easy decision, it was the catalyst for the transformation that has brought her the happiness and contentment she had longed for. In embracing her new life, Mary has proven that true happiness comes from within, and that no relationship, no matter how long or complex, should ever define our sense of self-worth.